as I said, we're going to try and find some positive, obviously very much in a sporting context, indeed a football one, with the current situation. That, potentially, with the season being delayed, is the return of injured players. If you look at this graphic here, you will see players who are currently out injured. Should they return for the run-in, Mark, wherever that may be, how significant could that be?
You look at the names on that list, Jeff, the likes of Harry Kane jump up for me as a Spurs supporter, obviously. But Son and Kane returning. You look at N'Golo Kante, Tammy Abraham, these are big players returning to the club to be fighting it out for Champions League places. So very, very significant.
I mean, potentially, Alan, how much will that skew the end of the season? Or do you just accept, because these are unprecedented times, that it's fortunate clubs who can get those players back?
I think with injuries, I think you would accept that, you know. So that's just, you know, a byproduct of the situation we're in. So somebody like John McGinn, you know, for Aston Villa could make a difference in their relegation fight. That kind of player returning, give them something extra, give the dressing room a lift. So, yeah, I mean, for the managers, yeah, it could work in their favour.
I mean, when you looked at that list, what were the names that jumped out for you?
Well, McGinn, I think, was one. I mean, Harry Kane is obviously a huge figure for Spurs. We're all looking ahead to the Euros. Would he be fit for England? But of course, that's probably not going to be relevant now. And Spurs not really going for too much in the way of league placings or trophies. So, but I mean, he'll be pleased to get back if he can. This side of 2021, I'm sure he will. But Rashford as well for United, with our ambitions for Europe, he's an important player for them.
The other thing as well, I don't know if it's happened at your club, Mark. Surely it would change the mindset of some injured players. Now, they can't get back any quicker, but there's a possibility of playing again this season, which is a huge carrot for them, isn't it?
We had a couple of injured players, Jeff, and their first reaction before the severity of the situation became apparent, they punched the air because they thought, well, we'd be back in 3 or 4 weeks' time. We have a chance of a selection and being involved in important games. So, absolutely, they want to play. That's it. But all this comes down to we have to wait and see. The same old question keeps arising.
Where can you see, potentially, Sean, positives coming from administrators' world with regard to this current situation?
I think the one positive you can draw is that the way UEFA have set about trying to bring everybody together, you know, there has been factions, there has been splits and divides, not just between England and UEFA, but, you know, across the globe. Actually, the chance to sit down and trying to resolve this issue on a collective basis, hopefully, could create a basis of a better relationship going forward. You know, we heard from Gordon Taylor earlier about there needs to be flexibility around player registrations. There's going to have to be a lot of people coming together to try and make this work. And hopefully whoever's actually over the top of all this, holding the pen, putting it together, can bring a number of different things together. And we might just actually be able to address some of the bigger issues, you know, that we've faced in the game in normal times. Now, we shouldn't use this as an opportunity. We shouldn't miss the opportunity to benefit the game as a whole, created by bringing everybody together. What we can achieve will be down to the appetite and the individuals that are concerned.
I mean, following on from what Sean said there, Brian, how much do you think there's an awareness amongst football authorities, certainly the international bodies, that they have been the target of a huge amount of criticism in recent years? Is this potential for them to repair some of that damage?
Absolutely. It's strong leadership. That's what's needed. The game is talking more. It has to talk more for the good of sport, for the good of football, because in some cases, clubs survive on these decisions. It's as simple as that. You talked about positives. I think one thing that needs to be mentioned here is that football clubs in particular play such an important role in communities and with fans. What we have seen is we've seen those positive messages from clubs on social media. We've seen donations from players for food banks. We've actually seen the game coming together and realising that, you know what, 7 months of arguing about VAR isn't that important in the grand scheme of things. What's important right now is what's happening out on the streets. People are struggling and clubs are stepping up. Players are stepping up to help them. And that needs to be recognised.
It is a reminder of what a wonderful game it is. Of course, it's got its faults and we quite often pick at those faults, but essentially it's a fantastic sport. that brings the whole country practically together. And we've only been out of it a weekend, and already we're pining for a return. So we shouldn't forget how much good football
Are you
brings.
conscious of that at QPR, Mark? Very much that you can put that message out there.
Yeah, very important. I mean, QPR is a huge community club. So much work is done by QPR and like-minded clubs. But it's such a vital role right now at this pressing time to really send out a powerful message to show that their clubs are with them and they're playing their part in helping the communities.
OK, we wish you well with that. Just time to thank you all for your time. Alan, to Mark, to Sean, of course to Bryan as well. We will be back tomorrow night with another debate here on Sky Sports News. Our guests tomorrow evening will be Jamie Redknapp, Gary Rowett, Adrian Bevington and Bryan Swanson.